Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, to another Festive Friday. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card with this little pop-out section that eventually becomes a two-sided hanging ornament. Very hard to show you in a 2D video, of course, but the recipient, it pops out, it's just on slightly, and they can pop it out and hang it on their tree, and it's sort of a keepsake forever. And this gold cord on the front actually goes, I don't know if you can see down in there, is hidden behind this section because it's up on dimensionals. But I'll show you how we make it. It was a little bit complicated to do without sort of making 6 of them and ruining them all as it went along, popping the elements out. But I'll try my best to explain to you how you do it. It doesn't take very many ingredients. It's a piece of real red, and it's 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. So that's the standard size that fits in an envelope, a regular medium envelope. I've then got a piece of basic white, which is 4 by 5 1/4, because being dark red, it needs a little bit of something on the inside. So I'll just go ahead and stick that on the inside and get that taken care of. The designer series paper I chose out of the new holiday mini catalogue. Let me just bring, I can't show you what's inside, of course, but I can show you the outside. So this is the fabulously exciting mini catalogue, and we are allowed to show you anything we've purchased, which when I looked inside I was like, oh no, I'm going to spend a fortune. So I'm going to use this. It looks like it says take a bow, but it's take a bow, because there are dies that come with it that you can cut your own little bows out, bow toppers. So there's all sorts of lovely paper in there. And what I did was I took, it's 6 by 6, of course. I took a piece and I cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. So this little piece we don't need. The 4 by 5 1/4 is going to go on the front. So let's get that stuck on. And then the little piece that was left, rather than it go to waste, I thought I would stick on the inside, just to give it a little bit of continuity of the front to follow through. So I'm just going to stick that on the piece of basic white so it jazzes up the inside. And this is the piece that goes on the outside. So fairly straightforward. Card, layer on the front, layer inside, little bit of jazziness. Then comes the fun part of making the ornament. So what I did was, I am using the hanging ornament set and the hanging ornament dies. And I cut a piece of basic white, and this is 4 by 2 3/4. And I punched, well actually not that one. Like I said, it gets to be quite a little bit complicated. So there is, the die is cut. I did have a piece that was that. Here we go. So I just cut the die into it. And then what I needed to do was stamp one of the 2 ornament decorations on the top. So I'm going to bring in garden green, because the designer series paper is garden green. And we'll ink it up nicely. And then it's quite hard to get this in the right position without my head being in the shot. So that's why I was just going to show you, fingers crossed this will work without my head. Oh, not bad, she said proudly. But this is one I made earlier. So I stamped it on both sides because I just didn't want to get it misplaced. And because I don't want to stick my head in a shot, that would be more likely to happen. So now we've stamped it technically on both sides. And then we're going to take a little piece of scrap paper. This is just one of the 1/2 inches. When you cut things down and you've got all these lovely little strips, this is one of those that I'm going to use. And I'm going to do the All Is Merry. So we just need 2 or 3 of those. And of course there are ones that I did earlier. So then using this lovely little die, I cut them out. So actually, you know what, I might as well just fess up and bring in my little whole complete collection of here's one I made earlier pieces. So die cut the circle, stamped on top of it on both sides. And this little lovely piece I just cut in real red cardstock to match the back of the main body of the card. Oops, throwing my adhesive around. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to stick on these lovely little lumpy pieces. Oh, should have done that on my silicone mat. I'm always saying that, aren't I? Let me just bring that in so I don't cause further havoc. So we'll just stick that across the front, and then we'll get an All Is Merry and pop that across the red, and then flip it over, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So we'll just do the real red sort of bubbly bubbles, I'm not really quite sure what they are, and then we'll put the die cut All Is Merry across there, and that is what is going to go on the front of the card. So I also went ahead and die cut out the hollies and the berries. So these are there's just, I wanted to show you, I'm going to use the glue dots, and these are some of the copious glue dots we get in the paper pumpkin kits, because there are just more than you could ever imagine you would need. So I'm going to quickly peel off the backings of the berries, which of course takes a while because they're little and fiddly and, you know, typical. There's 6 of them. I probably should have done a whole thing of here's one I made earlier. So we'll pop those into the corners using the glue dots. You can of course always use the liquid glue, but sometimes that can be a little bit messy. All right, there we go. So there's the berries. Now we just need to put some adhesive on the back of the hollies and get those into place, and then we are on a roll. So put the holly there. It's not very complicated, it's just a little bit bitty, unfortunately, so that's what takes the time. So now we've got this done, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch out, actually I don't think I need the ink pad anymore, so let me close that. I'm going to punch out the hole in the top of the ornament and thread through some gold cord. Just, this is 8 inches of cord, and again, full disclosure, this was left over from a paper pumpkin kit, so I thought, well, if I've got it, why don't I use it up? But of course there's a lovely array of all different colours of cords and twines and things that are available in the main catalogue. So I'm going to bring it through to the back and tie just a simple knot. So effectively I've now made the ornament. Oops, no, I haven't. I will have made the ornament, and I've got my knot tied. Oh my goodness, I sometimes have trouble with bows, but I didn't think I'd particularly have too much trouble tying a knot. And then what we need to do is we need to let your recipient know that they can actually pull this, and in the kit there is a handy dandy little stamp that says pull. So I'm just going to stamp that up quickly, but I am going to stamp it off once on a piece of scrap paper and put pull just lightly above it, because we don't want it to be a total focal point of the front of the card, but we do need it to be able to be seen. And then what we need to do are pop some dimensionals on the back so it can go onto the front of the card and be raised. Now, the only thing is that I thought was when we've done that and the person has removed the ornament, hopefully with enthusiastic and excitement because they can't wait to get it put onto their tree, there's just going to be a hole effectively like this in the middle of the card. And I thought it would be a nice idea to just stamp and die cut an extra one so it can go onto the front of the card. So I'm going to tuck in the cord, put some adhesive on the back of this extra one and lay it over where the ornament is going to be missing from. So then when you stick it onto the front of your card and that piece is ultimately pulled and removed, there's still actually a little piece of decoration on the card. So there you have it. It's not too complicated. It's just, it was a little bit harder for me to demonstrate it without, like I say, pulling the card apart, because then you can't get this back with its lovely little edges. But there you go, two the same. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate that. All the directions and dimensions, as always, will be on my blog. If you want to ask a question or pass a comment, please feel free to email me or put a comment in the box below. I'll honestly try my best to help you. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.